Does your business have major accounts that hinge on one or two personal relationships in the purchasing enterprise? If your answer is yes, then it's important for you to realize that this represents enormous risk to your organization, risk you need to act on now to minimize. Why? Because those one or two key contacts can very easily be promoted, transferred, or even fired, and suddenly you may find that the relationship between your businesses is actually quite shallow. In today's social selling quick tip video, we will be focusing on the meaning and the importance of multi-threading. For many sales professionals, the traditional strategy of focusing on one decision maker in a target company in the pursuit of a deal is no longer viable. While there is usually one person within an organization making the final decision, recent data from Gartner shows that on average a sales rep will interact with 6.8 people before closing a deal. That means zeroing in on a single decision maker could result in a lost deal or even worse. Multi-threaded sales are deals that involve multiple decision makers and influencers on the purchasing side. But less than 10% of sales deals are multi-threaded. Said differently, a very small percentage of sales teams have multiple connections into any given client. Across the board, the tenure of top-level decision makers, so VPs and CXOs, at a single company is less than 3 years. No matter who you sold or established a connection with, chances are greater than not that they won't be at that company within the next 3 years. Social selling is the simplest and most effective way you and your team can establish multiple connections with every client. We do see a 34% lift in deal size when multi-threaded. So conversations with your first point of contact within a target organization, coupled with an advanced lead search on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, can help you easily identify the other players within a company who are likely to have an influence on a deal. Culling this information is an important step for salespeople to get a clearer picture of who the buying influencers are, as well as how they relate to different operational units of the business. Influencers could be finance directors, HR, or even someone in marketing. And keep in mind, even if you don't aim to really secure a meeting with a person we call influencer, you should still save them as a lead in Sales Navigator in order to stay up to date. So I'm sure you want to know when the influencer in finance has left the company or got promoted, right? You probably also want to know when their CEO got mentioned in the news or so. If you've already multi-threaded one or the other account, I would love to hear from you about your experiences in that area down there in the comments. Finally, there are two more stats I want to share with you before you really multi-thread your next account. First, 84% of complex B2B deals start with an introduction by someone the purchasers know already. And secondly, 78% of warm introductions end in a meeting. This is exactly what we will be focusing on the next quick tip video. So for now, have a great day, happy selling.